mind to ensure your environment changes. I'm going to challenge you this morning because that's what the imam does. That's what the pastor does. That's what the bishop does. It's what the rabbi does. If you want to change, you have to change. You can't continue to listen to the same old music. You can't continue to listen and have the same old attitude. You can't carry the same past into the future. All of those things, if you're not evolving, you're stagnant. Anything that is stagnant dies. I'm going to say that again. God has set up a system that anything that isn't stagnant dies. It is amazing to me that you'll go around to some people and they'll say, I have 20 years experience in this. You can't tell me. Yeah, but 20 years of doing mediocre things will produce mediocre results. 20 years of doing mediocre things and having a mediocre mindset which produce mediocre results. Are you really trying to get better in your marriage? Or are you doing the same old things, having the same old arguments, the same old stagnant behavior? Are you really trying to have better friendships? Are you doing the same old things, being the same old critical person instead of uplifting those people? Are you trying to be promoted on your job? Are you trying to be the best of your job? Are you using the same old reasons why you can't get promoted, the same old reasons why you haven't been more progressive? Or is your health changing? Are you using the same old excuses? You don't have time, you can't get to the gym, you can't eat better because it's hard. And God said he will never change the condition of a people until they first change themselves. Most of us wonder why God isn't moving in our life. The reason God isn't moving in your life is because you are not moving. I'm going to say that again because I don't want you to miss that. The reason God is not moving in your life is because you are not moving. God requires of us to struggle. God requires of us to change. If you're doing the same things you did 20 years ago, you are dishonoring your very existence. If you were doing and thinking the same ways you did at 20 and now you're 50, you are dishonoring the very life that God gave you. You say, but Shabazz, but it's not fun. Well, sometimes progress ain't fun. You say, but Shabazz, I'm bored. It's because you haven't found that thing that taps into your mind, that gives you orgasmic behavior, orgasmic feeling, because you're still trying to get the feelings that you had when you were 20. You're trying to get the feelings that you had when you were younger. People always say, I miss the good old days. What was good about them? Because you were free balling, you were hanging out, you were drinking, you were smoking, and you sit around in frivolity while people were passing you by and you were hating on them, saying that they only got to where they were because of the good old boy system or the good old girl system, because the boss liked them and they didn't like you. Well, maybe the boss didn't like you because you weren't serious minded. Maybe the boss didn't like you because he didn't see a maturity in you. Maybe the boss didn't like you because you weren't growing. God said he will never change the condition of a people until they first change themselves. Happy New Year. A new year is symbolic of growth. You ever notice time doesn't stand still? It is a metaphor to you that you shouldn't stand still. There's an old saying, even a turtle has to stick his neck out to make progress. I'm going to say that again. Even a turtle has to stick his neck out to make progress. You have to stick your neck out. Sometimes that causes a lot of pain. You have to stick your neck out to move. Sometimes that causes a lot of discomfort. You have to stick your neck out. And sometimes your neck will get chopped off. Not in the literal sense, but in the metaphorical sense. Sometimes your feelings are going to get hurt. Most times you're going to get rejected. Most times you're not going to get it right on the first try. But even a turtle has to stick his neck out to make progress. If you want to progress in your life, you have to do it different. If you want to progress in your life, you have to move and think different. You have to change your environment. You have to change the people in your environment. You have to change your attitude. It is amazing to me that you want to progress, but don't want to be provocative in the way that you handle yourself. You don't want to change the way, because somewhere, somehow, you say, that ain't me. What ain't you? You don't even know who you are if you haven't struggled and been at the bottom and had to climb your way out of the well to actually know who you are. You have been comfortable in the way you are. And so you just say, that ain't me. Well, who are you? If your environment has shaped you to be a mediocre person with a mediocre attitude, with a mediocre existence, you tell me who you are. No, you are what somebody has made you. Do you really know your true self? You probably don't, because you never really had to dig down and scrape off and understand who you are. See, you're not who you are in good times. You who you are when it's time to struggle. You who you are when pressure comes on you. You who you are when you have to compromise or not compromise your integrity and your values. You are who you are when the pressure hits you. You are not who you are now sitting in your living room watching your fine TVs and driving your fine high-interest loans. That's not who you are. That's easy. But who are you when it's time to get up and change your behavior? Who are you when it's time to change your diet, change your life, change your relationships that are unhealthy for you? Who are you when it's time to give up your money, not in pleasure, but in the education and upliftment of your community and your children? Who are you when it's time to change your mentality as from that person that you were 20 years ago? God said he will never change the condition of a people until they first change themselves. Happy New Year. Happy New Year 2020. Do it right. You deserve it. May the peace and blessings of God be upon you. Assalamu alaikum, fi amanillah. God, I ask you to give us all courage to change. God, I ask you to give us all courage to be better than we were last year. God, I ask you, please don't let us use our excuses as a manifestation of our behavior. God, I ask you in sincerity, help us to dig down inside of ourselves and find our true selves, because we're not lost. We shouldn't be looking for ourselves. You created us, so therefore it's a mandate that we create the lives that we want to have. Increase us in knowledge, increase us in courage, and increase us in consistency. Ameen. Peace.